طبعا أنا قايم بثورة عند أطروحات عالمية.
Surprisingly, news now has it that Gaddafi's adopted daughter, who was thought to be dead, is alive and well. This surprising news has made people curious about her mysterious life before her rumored demise. Why did everyone believe she was no more? What secrets does she have, and how did she survive? Was there more to the tragic incident decades ago, or was everyone blinded by sympathy? Join us as we unveil nerve-wracking details about Gaddafi's long-lost daughter. Rumors of Hana's demise. According to the report, Hana Muammar Gaddafi was born on the 11th of November, 1985. Although we do not know who her biological parents were, it was rumored that her mother was one of the servants in Gaddafi's household. An anonymous source revealed that this maid in question gave birth while she was on duty, and when Gaddafi heard of this, he ordered that the child be brought a few months later. Then he adopted the child, after paying the mother a huge sum of money. Hana is widely known as the adopted daughter of Libya's former leader, Muammar Gaddafi. Her name first gained international attention after the United States bombed Tripoli on the 14th of April, 1986. In the aftermath, the Libyan government claimed that Hana, then an infant, had been killed in the airstrike. This tragic narrative was used by Gaddafi's regime to portray Libya as a victim of Western aggression and to garner international sympathy. The story of Hana's death became a powerful symbol of the consequences of military intervention in Libya. However, over the years, questions arose about whether Hana truly died in the bombing. Several reports and pieces of evidence suggested that she may have survived or that the narrative of her death was fabricated. How did this investigation go over the years? And how was it later discovered that she was alive? Keep watching for more details about this, but before then, let's look at Gaddafi's life and how he eventually adopted Hana. Who is Gaddafi? Muammar Mohammed Abu Minyar al-Gaddafi was born in the quiet village of Qasr Abu Hadi, just outside the town of Sirte, in the vast deserts of Tripolitania, in what was then Italian-ruled western Libya. According to history, Gaddafi was the youngest of 4 children and the only son in his family. His roots are traced to the Qad tribe, a modest and relatively obscure Arab clan. Unfortunately, Gaddafi's mother, Aisha bin Niran, passed away in the year 1978. While his father, Mohammed Abdul Salam bin Hamed bin Mohammed, known simply as Abu Minyar, died 6 years later. While alive, Abu Minyar led a humble life, tending goats and camels to provide for his family as the breadwinner, husband, and father. Like many Bedouin tribes of the time, the family was illiterate and kept no written records, leaving the exact date of Gaddafi's birth a mystery. Some believe he was born in 1942 or during the spring of 1943. However, biographers David Blundy and Andrew Lysett suggested he might have been born before 1940. Growing up among the nomadic Bedouins deeply shaped Gaddafi's character. He developed a lifelong preference for the simplicity of the desert over the bustle of city life, often retreating to the sands to reflect and find peace. As the only surviving son, surrounded by his 3 elder sisters, Gaddafi's early experiences in the harsh yet serene desert landscapes forever influenced his tastes and choices. From childhood, he was aware of the involvement of European colonial powers in Libya. Italy occupied his nation, and during the North African campaign of the Second World War, it witnessed conflict between Italian and British forces. According to later claims, Gaddafi's paternal grandfather, Abdesalam Bauminyar, was assassinated by the Italian army during the Italian invasion of 1911. At the end of the Second World War in 1945, Libya was occupied by British and French forces. Britain and France considered dividing the nation between their empires. Still, the General Assembly of the United Nations decided that the country was to be granted political independence, and in 1951, the United Kingdom of Libya was created. According to history, Gaddafi's earliest education was religious because of his background and location. A local Islamic teacher taught him. Later, he moved to nearby Sirte to attend elementary school, where he completed 6 grades in 4 years, a feat not easily accomplished in his time. Education in Libya was not free, and it was also believed that only the rich and perfect were supposed to go to school. However, his father believed it would greatly benefit his son, despite the financial burden, and did his best to send Gaddafi to school before he unexpectedly passed away. During an interview, Gaddafi revealed that he had to sleep in the mosque during the week to meet up with school and trek 20 miles on weekdays to visit his parents. Although his father was uneducated, he sacrificed a lot to send his son to school. Unfortunately, Gaddafi faced bullying and discrimination as a poor Bedouin from his city-dwelling classmates. However, many Egyptian teachers told him about the dramatic events unfolding in their homeland. From Sirte, Gaddafi and his family moved to the market town of Sabha in Fezzan, south-central Libya, where his father worked as a caretaker for a tribal leader. At the same time, Muammar attended secondary school, something neither of his parents had experienced. Unlike his former school, he was loved in this new school, and he even made some good friends who later held important positions in his administration, especially his best friend, Abdul Salam Jalloud. Interestingly, many teachers at Sabha were Egyptian, and for the first time, Gaddafi had access to pan-Arab newspapers and radio broadcasts, especially the Cairo-based Voice of the Arabs. Growing up, he witnessed significant events that deeply shook the Arab world, including the 1948 Arab-Israeli War, the Egyptian Revolution of 1952, the Suez Crisis of 1956, and the brief existence of the United Arab Republic between 1958 and 1961. He admired the political changes in the Arab Republic of Egypt, led by his hero, President Gamal Abdel Nasser. Nasser promoted Arab nationalism, rejected Western colonialism, neo-colonialism, and Zionism, and encouraged a shift from capitalism to socialism. Notably, Nasser's book, Philosophy of the Revolution, which explained how to carry out a coup, greatly influenced Gaddafi. One of Gaddafi's Egyptian teachers, Mahmoud Effeh, reportedly supported his political ideas and advised him that a successful revolution would need the army's backing. He organized demonstrations and handed out posters criticizing the monarchy. Then, in October 1961, he also led a protest against Syria's secession from the United Arab Republic and raised money to send messages of support to Nasser. Unfortunately, this demonstration was not a peaceful one, as it involved violence, which resulted in the arrest of about 20 students. Gaddafi and his group also smashed windows in a local hotel accused of serving drinks. As punishment, the authorities expelled Gaddafi and his family from Sabha. He was even described in newspapers as the troublesome one. He later moved to Misrata and attended Misrata Secondary School. Staying committed to Arab nationalist activism, he refused to join any of the city's banned political groups, including the Arab Nationalist Movement, the Arab Socialist Ba'ath Party, and the Muslim Brotherhood, claiming he opposed factionalism. Gaddafi read extensively about Nasser, the French Revolution of 1789, and the works of Syrian political thinker Michael Aflaq, along with biographies of Abraham Lincoln, Sun Yat-sen, and Mustafa Kemal Ataturk. Knowing Gaddafi's early life and involvement in demonstrations and politics, let's talk about his personal life and how he adopted a child. Was it true that, due to Gaddafi's authoritative nature, his wives were unable to bear children, forcing him to adopt? Keep watching to find out. Love life and how Hana came into the picture. Gaddafi's first marriage was to Fatia Aloui, which lasted only 1 year. During this brief marriage, they had a son named Mohammed, Gaddafi's firstborn. After the divorce, Gaddafi married Safia Farkash, a former nurse, and this relationship became a cornerstone of his personal life. Some even said that Safia was his soulmate and she patiently waited for him to find her, which was why his first marriage with Fatia was short-lived. Safia remained by his side for over 40 years, loyal to him even during the most difficult times. Together, they had 7 children, 6 sons and 1 daughter. Despite having a large family, the Gaddafi family made the unusual decision to adopt 2 children, a girl named Hana Gaddafi and a boy named Milad Gaddafi. This raised intriguing questions. Why would a man who already had 8 biological children choose to adopt more? Was there more to the existence of his children than what was heard and seen? Did Gaddafi strategically use adoption to cover up for his rumored extramarital affairs? There could be several reasons behind this choice. First, it is important to note that the Gaddafi family was extremely wealthy, so raising 2 additional children would not have been a financial burden. However, wealth alone does not explain such a decision. What was going on? How did he get to meet these children in the first place? Perhaps it was a way for Gaddafi to project a more compassionate and caring image to the world. adopting children could be seen as an act of generosity, a way to soften his otherwise controversial and often ruthless public image. This could have been a strategic move to influence his international perception, offering a contrast to his hardline political persona. Who knows? On the other hand, there might have been personal reasons involved. Hana, for instance, was reportedly adopted as an infant, and Gaddafi was said to have been deeply fond of her. Some believe that adopting children gave him a sense of fulfillment or satisfaction that went beyond politics and power, offering a rare glimpse into a more human and emotional side of the dictator. It is possible that Gaddafi found comfort in the role of a father beyond his biological children, seeking to expand his family for personal contentment and some other hidden reasons. It is also worthwhile to think about how Gaddafi could have strengthened gratitude and loyalty in his household through adoption. Milad, for example, was rumored to be the son of a close associate or ally. By adopting him, Gaddafi might have secured deeper bonds of loyalty, ensuring that Milad would grow up indebted to the family. This could have been a calculated decision to secure trust and allegiance from key individuals within his inner circle, further solidifying his control over those around him. Muammar Gaddafi's family was always surrounded by secrecy, and one of the most puzzling figures in this web of intrigue was his adopted daughter, Hana. Interestingly, aside from some public photos of Gaddafi holding Hana, which suggested their closeness, Gaddafi never publicly acknowledged Hana's existence until a tragic and politically charged event brought her into the spotlight. In 1986, during a series of airstrikes on Libya ordered by United States President Ronald Reagan, Hana's name became known to the world. Reports claimed that she lost her life during the bombings, and Gaddafi used this narrative to portray himself as a victim of Western aggression. However, over the years, conflicting reports emerged, with some suggesting that Hana had survived and was living a secretive life in Libya. This mystery surrounding her fate added another layer to the secrecy that enveloped Gaddafi's family. In many ways, Gaddafi's complex family dynamics mirrored his complicated leadership style, which was filled with contradictions, hidden agendas, and calculated moves. Despite already having a large family, his decision to adopt children reflected personal desires and strategic thinking. Whether driven by genuine affection or political strategy, these decisions contributed to the enigmatic image of Muammar Gaddafi, a leader whose personal life was as complex and secretive as his political rule. Let's look closely at what happened on the day of the airstrike attack. Did Hana lose her life, or was there foul play somewhere? Keep watching to find out. The 1986 bombing of Libya. Historians revealed that Libya became a major priority for President Ronald Reagan of the United States shortly after he took office in 1981. Meanwhile, Libyan leader Muammar Gaddafi was strongly opposed to Israel and had provided support to violent groups operating in the Palestinian territories and Syria. Reports surfaced that Libya was attempting to develop nuclear weapons, and Gaddafi's occupation of Chad, a country rich in uranium, raised serious concerns for the United States. Sadly, his plans to establish a federation of Arab and Muslim nations in North Africa further threatened United States interests in the region. Additionally, the United States Secretary of State at the time, Alexander Haig, advocated for proactive action against Gaddafi due to his use of former Central Intelligence Agency operatives, particularly Edwin P. Wilson and Frank E. Turple, to help establish terrorist training camps. In the shadowy world of Cold War tensions, the United States was quietly preparing for a bold strike against Libya long before the world took notice. In October 1985, a top-secret operation known as Operation Ghost Rider was set in motion. The 20th Tactical Fighter Wing, stationed at RAF Upper Heyford in the United Kingdom, received covert orders to carry out a simulated attack. On the 18th of October, 10 F-111E Aardvark fighter jets, each armed with 8 500-pound practice bombs, roared into the skies on a mission to strike a mock airfield hidden in the remote wilderness of Labrador, Canada, just south of CFB Goose Bay. This was no ordinary drill. It was a full-scale rehearsal for a potential long-range assault on Libyan soil. The mission tested the strike force's endurance, precision, and readiness. The operation was nearly flawless, except for one aircraft malfunctioning, leaving 7 out of 8 bombs stuck on a wing rack. Yet, the mission's success provided invaluable insights. The lessons learned were swiftly handed over to the 48th Tactical Fighter Wing, which was equipped with the more advanced F-111F jets, sharpening the spear for the real mission that lay ahead. Meanwhile, across the Atlantic, another force was quietly being forged. In August 1985, 6 elite B-52H bomber crews from the 23rd Bombardment Squadron at Minot Air Force Base in North Dakota were selected for a specialized role. Dubbed the Advanced Conventional Task Force, these crews underwent intense training in low-level conventional bombing tactics. For the first time in history, B-52 crews were equipped with night vision goggles, allowing them to navigate and strike with deadly precision under the cover of darkness. Over 6 relentless months, these bombers unleashed more live ordnance across the Nevada and Utah test ranges than had been dropped since the Vietnam War. Their training was designed for perfection, capable of releasing 6 devastating strings of Mk-117 bombs in rapid succession, each landing with pinpoint accuracy. From the vast plains of North Dakota, these flying giants stood ready to deliver crushing blows to distant targets. However, this strategy came with serious risks. The B-52s, as the backbone of the United States nuclear deterrent, were never intended for direct strikes against heavily defended targets. Libya's Soviet-supplied SA-6 surface-to-air missile systems posed a deadly threat to these massive bombers. Deploying them against such defenses could jeopardize a critical component of America's nuclear shield. Yet the message was clear: the United States was prepared to strike with overwhelming force. Whether through the sleek, low-flying F-111s or the hulking B-52s, Gaddafi's Libya was now firmly in the crosshairs. Following the deadly attacks at the Rome and Vienna airports in December 1985, resulted in 19 lifeless bodies found and left approximately 140 people injured. Gaddafi openly stated that he would continue to support groups like the Red Army faction, the Red Brigades, and the Irish Republican Army. He justified this support by accusing European governments of backing anti-Gaddafi Libyans. After years of sporadic clashes with Libya over its territorial claims in the Gulf of Sidra, the United States began considering a direct military strike on Libyan targets. In March 1986, the United States, upholding the 12 nautical mile limit for territorial waters as recognized under international law, deployed a carrier task force to the region. Relatably, the Libyan army responded aggressively on the 24th of March, launching countermeasures that escalated into a naval confrontation in the Gulf of Sidra. On the 5th of April 1986, suspected Libyan agents bombed the La Belle nightclub in West Berlin, resulting in 3 people losing their lives, including 2 United States servicemen and a Turkish woman. The attack also injured 229 people, 79 of whom were Americans. West Germany and the United States obtained cable transcripts from Libyan agents based in East Germany who were directly involved in orchestrating the attack. Years later, more detailed information emerged when the reunited Germany examined the archives of the Stasi, the former East German secret police. Through these investigations, Libyan agents who had carried out the bombing operation from the Libyan embassy in East Germany were identified. In the 1990s, Germany prosecuted those responsible for the deadly attack. Focusing on Gaddafi's household, it was reported that when chaos erupted over Tripoli, Gaddafi and his family narrowly escaped death as bombs rained down in the Bab al-Azia compound. A journalist even said that their escape was no accident. Still, a desperate last-minute flight sparked by a crucial phone call from Malta's Prime Minister, Karmenu Mifsud Boniti, who warned Gaddafi to get ready to flee with his family. Boniti had been tipped off by Italy's Prime Minister, Bettino Craxi. Italian radar had detected a formation of unidentified aircraft moving ominously off the west coast of Sicily. In response, Italy scrambled its F-104 starfighters to intercept the unknown planes. As they approached, the Italian pilots were met with stern warnings delivered in unmistakable American accents, forcing them to back off and leaving the strike force to continue its deadly mission. Unfortunately, the airstrikes hit with brutal precision. Nearby hospitals quickly filled with the wounded. According to medical staff, 24 casualties wearing military uniforms were rushed in, along with 2 others in civilian clothes. Among the dead, Libyan officials presented a heartbreaking image to the world: the lifeless body of a baby girl. American reporters were told she was Hana, Gaddafi's recently adopted daughter. The sight was meant to stir outrage, a symbol of American aggression. Yet, even in death, questions surrounded the child. Was she truly Gaddafi's daughter? Others speculated that Gaddafi had adopted the girl posthumously, turning tragedy into propaganda. There were even rumors that he later adopted another girl and gave her the same name, Hana, in a haunting tribute. Who was Hana, and did she lose her life that day? Let's find out. The revelation and public reactions. In 1999, reports from the Chinese news agency Xinhua revealed that Hana was seen attending a luncheon with South African President Nelson Mandela, accompanied by Muammar Gaddafi's wife and other children. A young girl identified as Hana appeared in photographs from the event, fueling suspicions that she had been alive all along. Subsequently, the mystery surrounding Muammar Gaddafi's family deepened in 2011 when Libyan rebels stormed the infamous Bab al-Azizia compound in Tripoli during the height of the Libyan civil war. This sprawling fortress, once a symbol of Gaddafi's iron grip over Libya, was reduced to chaos as rebels combed through the ruins, unearthing remnants of the dictator's private world. Amid the rubble, journalists stumbled upon a room believed to have belonged to Hana Gaddafi, Gaddafi's adopted daughter, whose existence had long been shrouded in controversy. For decades, Gaddafi claimed that Hana lost her life as a child during the United States airstrike on Tripoli in 1986. However, the discovery within the compound cast doubt on this narrative and reignited speculation that Hana had survived and quietly lived a concealed life. The room offered intimate glimpses into the life of a young woman. Scattered across the space were medical textbooks, hinting at an academic pursuit in the medical field. Personal photographs adorned the area, capturing candid moments that suggested a life far from the tragedy once described. University documents further pointed toward Hana's educational journey, while a British Council certificate dated 2007 revealed she had excelled in English, earning an A grade. Perhaps most compelling was an exam paper signed Hana Muammar Gaddafi, a discovery that brought widespread speculation. This evidence suggested she had been actively pursuing a medical career, contradicting the long-held belief of her early demise. Was this proof that Gaddafi had fabricated the story of her demise to gain international sympathy, or had Hana truly survived against all odds? The discovery of these artifacts reignited debates about the Gaddafi regime's manipulation of truth and secrecy. It painted a picture of a dictator who might have hidden his daughter in plain sight, shielding her from the world as Libya crumbled around them. Aside from what we knew and believed, who was Hana Gaddafi, and why was her true story buried so long? The enigma surrounding Muammar Gaddafi's family deepened further with startling evidence emerging from the Libyan embassy in London. In 2008, documents revealed that a London-based dentist had been urgently flown to Tripoli to provide dental treatment for a patient listed as Hana Gaddafi. This seemingly routine medical visit took on far greater significance in the shadow of Gaddafi's long-standing claim that his adopted daughter Hana lost her life as a young child during the United States airstrike on Tripoli in 1986. The revelation of her receiving medical care decades later directly contradicted this narrative and sent shockwaves through diplomatic and media circles. The discovery reignited debates over the truth behind Hana's fate. For years, Gaddafi had presented her supposed demise as a symbol of Western aggression, using it to attract sympathy and justify his hardline stance against foreign intervention. Yet, the evidence of a living Hana receiving specialized medical treatment in Libya suggested a far more complex reality. Was this the same Hana who had allegedly perished? Or was this another child Gaddafi had adopted and named in her memory? Speculation spread rapidly. Some believed that Gaddafi, notorious for his manipulation of public perception, may have deliberately fabricated Hana's demise to fuel anti-Western sentiment and solidify his domestic power. This theory painted the dictator as a master of propaganda, willing to exploit personal tragedy for political gain. Others argued that Gaddafi might have adopted another daughter and named her Hana, either as an emotional tribute or as a strategic move to maintain the narrative surrounding his family. The possibility that Hana had been alive all along cast a chilling light on the inner workings of Gaddafi's regime. It suggested a world of secrecy, where truth was carefully controlled and personal stories were woven into political manipulation. The notion that Gaddafi could conceal his daughter's existence for decades spoke to the extent of his control over his family and the Libyan people. This revelation added intrigue to Gaddafi's legacy, leaving the world questioning how much of what had been accepted as fact was fiction. Ultimately, the truth about Hana Gaddafi remained as elusive as ever, caught between propaganda and the harsh light of reality. Despite numerous investigations and reports, Hana Gaddafi's fate remains a mystery. Whether she survived the bombing, was replaced by another child bearing the same name, or if the entire narrative was fabricated has never been fully confirmed. What are your thoughts concerning this? Let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe to our channel. You can also watch the other videos on your screen.